Hey, Omega.
Yes.
So, when John Cena came out to the ring last night, do you know what? I was reminded of a book.
A modest composer.
No. Atlas shrugged. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. Let's start the show. No time for joke around. Just quiet down, don't shout. After all, to track down 10 tons of steel. Be good at random times if you only listen to. Whoa, get serious. Whoa, get serious. Get serious. Enough. Hey everybody, and welcome to episode number 115 of Wooo Get Serious. My name is Gunner, and that is Omega BR.
And this is my lovely new girlfriend. Her name is Pam Crisco.
Oh God. Joining us this week live from his kitchen, it's our wonderful sound producer, Mr. Jacob DDS.
Because I'm the best. I don't know if everybody knew that or not about me, but it is true. I am the best.
And introducing our guests, the man who does not eat his pierogies with butter, Matt Jester.
You dare rise against me! The PG era is over! The reality era has begun!
I swear I thought we banned Mr. from ever using soundboards.
Well, he got around that because he held his phone up to the board, to his speaker. So he got around it. But speaking of things that we can't get around, let's get started with the news. Daniel Bryan's father passed away this previous weekend, which is why he was attacked on Raw, a show he didn't have to work. Batista may be taking time off after Extreme Rules, as he is not advertised for any shows immediately after. While he was always expected to take a break to do promotion for Guardians of the Galaxy, the film doesn't come out until August. The main goal of Evolution vs. The Shield feud is to get Roman Reigns in a singles position to have a match with Triple H, possibly at SummerSlam or stretch to Hell in a Cell or even Survivor Series. Okay, so future WWE booking. What'd you guys all think of Raw last night with Flair coming back and then going no Evolution? I like the Shield better.
Classic swerve. I liked it.
Oh, I knew it was going to happen. I just didn't know it would be so blunt and blatant, and then he would, kind of leave to go pick up his paycheck.
Blair must have just cut an alimony check last week, so back looking for money.
Yep, there you go.
I mean, let's be honest here. Last person that Ric Flair came out and endorsed.
Yeah.
What?
Kendo.
No, I was talking about the Miz.
Yeah, look how well it turned out.
He kind of embraced Bryan last year during the Orton thing.
He did. And let's not forget, a few other people that he's embraced as well. How you doing, Jay Lethal?
Oh yeah!
I think it's not that a Flair endorsement doesn't mean anything. It's that it really all it is him coming out and saying, you're the man now, and then walking away and doing it again in 6 months to somebody different.
Dog.
Good spot for Roman Reigns, though. We'll see how that turns out. But speaking of things that don't matter, or that aren't important, it seems that Vince Russo appears to be on TNA's payroll again as a consultant, quote-unquote, offering ideas and suggestions and minor changes to TV shows, possibly being handed scripts, giving his notes, and then handing them back. There's a feeling that John Gaburek might be in over his head as the lead of creative, since that's a role he never had in WWE. Dixie Carter recently had meetings in Nashville asking questions about why morale was so low and why they didn't have a presence in New Orleans during WrestleMania, furthering a conception that she always talks about what they should have done rather than what they should do. Janice Carter and the Panda Energy lawyer met with her as well during those meetings, which raised some concern as they usually stay in Texas. Meanwhile, in more positive news, TNA has partnered with the United Talent Agency, who will represent them in new TV licensing and touring deals, also representing them in negotiating any TV, be it with Spike or another network. I hear the UTA is actually pretty good at what they do, kind of well respected. It kind of really boosted morale because people have the feeling that if Spike drops TNA, UTA can find them another spot. Basically, that's how kind of big they are.
I am going to 99.9% guarantee that TNA will be dropped by Spike. Unless Spike really, really needs something and can't make another deal with somebody else, aka Jeff Jarrett or some other promotion, I highly expect that basically TNA will lose the only thing that's valuable about themselves, which is, their national television deal. And I've said this all along, TNA is only number 2 because it has a national television deal. Once that goes away, TNA is just right in the myriad of ROH and Chikara coming back and any other promotion that it runs in the United States that isn't quote-unquote indie, but, is one of the larger, well-known indies.
Right. That's really the only thing that separates them. That and their pay deals.
So
they don't have.
Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. I was just they don't really have anything to offer. So I mean, even with this new management company, you can only polish a turd so much and try and sell it, but it's still a turd. I'm saying TNA is shit.
Yeah, we got that part. Real quick, because we're sort of over on time on this one, but I gotta ask, you're 100%, or as you said, 99.9% positive that Spike will drop TNA for somebody else? If you Jeff Jarrett's organizations? Who?
I don't think they'll drop maybe Jeff Jarrett's organization because it's Jeff Jarrett's organization. Maybe for another promotion that could potentially, woo them into doing something. But because TNA wasn't bought out by Spike and they don't have a stake in it, I would say that it's a very high chance that because TNA does such shit in the ratings, they aren't keeping that solid 1.0 that we had said all along that they would need to keep to make sure that they can keep the advertising revenue in. I could see them dropping TNA as a more expensive product. Speaking of things that were inappropriately dropped, Darren Young tore his ACL at a live event and is rehabbing after surgery, and he's going to be out 4 to 6 months. AJ Lee asked for time off and dropped the Divas title to Paige as a result. Christian was not ready to return to face Big E for the Intercontinental Championship, thus the idea of a tournament was formed to make it seem like a big deal, which it has made it a big deal. Vicky Guerrero isn't gone from the WWE after all, but rather in something of an Eve Torres situation, where she's not there, but still working for them. Rey Mysterio was on vacation with his family in Hawaii and given time off again due to his hand injury. Triple H suffered some kind of muscle injury in his match with Daniel Bryan, which is why it was taped up. and referee Charles Robinson cut his thumb so badly when setting up the ring in Saudi Arabia that he nearly lost it completely. Okay, that's going to be a story and a half.
Holy shit! I was wondering why he wasn't at the house show that I went to on Sunday. It was like Tista ref on every match.
Pretty nasty stuff. I don't really remember what he was doing exactly, but you gotta remember most of the ring is just wood and metal. So, you know, things can get pinched, things can spring loose. And it is kind of neat seeing, if you stick around after a show, 10 or 15 minutes, just how quickly they try to dismantle everything. And it really is the referees, too, the refs, and along with the crew members who do it.
I have to say it's happy news that AJ dropped the title because she wanted to take time off and not because WWE was punishing her for what her boyfriend did.
It's kind of weird, that situation.
I expect CM Punk back at some point, by the way, just to make say it. Hot damn, Paige has been doing awesome.
Paige is awesome. Everything about her is awesome.
Yeah, they've been handling her quite well so far. Speaking of handling quite well, Mick Foley said in several interviews now that he's probably not going to sign his new Legends deal because he feels they haven't done right by the guys with the video game, among other things, saying the check was a little too low. Last year they had the excuse of the company going under, the video game company going under, of course, but this year not so much. WWE is reportedly blackballing past and present talents from appearing on Nancy Grace after DDP was on weeks ago, and it was insinuated that Warrior's death was due to drugs and or steroids. Grace was scheduled to do a wrestling segment with RJ Brewer last week, but it's now being rescheduled, supposedly hoping to make amends with wrestling fans after all the bad publicity they got. Yeah, if you want good publicity, bring on RJ Brewer.
Oh, Jesus
I don't
Christ.
have much to say on that besides fuck Nancy Grace. She's an awful piece of human excrement. And I hope terrible things happen to her. I'll be right back.
I have some other suggestions for guests she could bring on. Ian Rotten, Teddy Hart,
That guy in Ontario.
that guy in Ontario, yeah.
Vince Russo.
Who's that sportscaster that always takes jabs at wrestling?
Oh, they get along great, those two. That'd be fun. But, yeah, I'm not terribly surprised that they're blackballing this. Nancy Grace is a cunt. I don't like her. She need, bag of war steak, etc. And Mick Foley has been... Mick has been a little jaded with the WWE lately. Have you noticed?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the thing with Foley is he's been making a lot of parallels between himself and Bryan, or at least sticking up for Bryan a lot. And it's really kind of true, because Foley, despite being, a big part of the Attitude Era and, pivotal and everything when he won the title and all, he's never really spoken in the same breath as guys like Rock, Austin, Triple H, Undertaker, etc. And there's a certain lack of basic respect for him as a legend, I think, that he's felt over the years. And maybe it's because he's a nice guy, or maybe it's because, he was, maybe, he's just not Austin, Rock, whoever. But I think that's one of the reasons he went to TNA when he did. I think that's one of the reasons he's kind of, in his older age now, kind of speaking out against a lot of this stuff, because, you know, he doesn't like to see it repeated, you know.
Yeah. Moving on here. Let's see here. Extreme Rising has canceled all future events, telling fans they can contact their banker credit card company or the store they bought tickets directly for a refund. Champion Luke Hawx quit the promotion after a dispute with the promoter Steve O'Neill, saying he would do so if anyone was paid late or if there was any talent disputes. He was booked for the Hardcore Road Trip event in Ontario. However, that show's promoter was nowhere to be found after the event, leaving most of the locker room unpaid and announcing to the live crowd they could help transport talent over the border to catch flights. And Smash Wrestling offered to pay PayPal money owed to talents in order to keep Ontario's wrestling reputation. Now, let me tell you something. I know for a fact that Gregory Iron has received payment for that, and I've seen videos of the boys being in the ring talking about this guy after he ran from pretty much everybody. Apparently, he was struck and went to the hospital. There's all this drama about it. But at the end of the day, he didn't pay the boys. He actually screwed them out. Again, he's done this before. And if this guy ever shows up at another wrestling event again, or if any of the wrestlers know where he is, I would take out a life insurance policy if I were him. But just saying.
I'm going to do it right now.
New York City, get a rope.
It's pretty shameful that you know, that this kind of thing still happens in this day and age. You know, it's one thing to hear about wrestlers who don't show up or for whatever reason or whatever, but it's another for a promoter to, you know, in many cases screw over the fans as well as the wrestlers. And you know, that's, you know, you're talking about rather than one wrestler kind of screwing up the show, it's the promoter screwing up the entire show. But good on Smash Wrestling. They're very, very gracious act on their part. And by the way, they have an event this Sunday in Toronto. It's called Gold, and it starts at 3 p.m. I think. So check that out if you're in the area.
Smash Wrestling is good wrestling. I would highly recommend it. I know a lot of guys actually who've wrestled in my area who wrestled up for Smash, so this is all still very good stuff. So,
and they'll be having a championship tournament, I should mention. And Kevin Steen, Chris Hero, Michael Elgin, Johnny Gargano, among the names that will be there. Well, I guess it's time we wrap this up a little bit. A new tech report from Quilt, that's Quilt with a W, notes that WWE and Twitch.tv make up 2% of all online video volume on the internet now, with Amazon taking 3%. That's, of course, due to the network. That's kind of impressive. ESPN is expected to make a major play for Renee Young soon, as she's actually impressed a lot of networks with her smoothness on WWE TV. There will be a wrestling-themed episode of the ABC sitcom The Goldbergs on May the 6th, dedicated to the Ultimate Warrior. I know the creator of that show was trying to get footage from WWE to use on the program. And Ring of Honor has announced they will debut on a broadcast pay-per-view with Best of the World 2014 on Sunday, June 22nd from Nashville. This comes off the heels of course, Dish and DirecTV and also AT&T Uverse saying that they will not carry the Extreme Rules pay-per-view.
Okay, so let's just get this out of the way right now. Best in the World 2014. Ring of Honor. Is there any way on God's green earth Punk's going to show up to that show?
no.
I think the dog was agreeing with you.
No.
No, it would take something kind of monumental, magnanimous to... Well, first he'd kind of have to get out of his contract first, but... It would be kind of a silly move on his part to do it for no other reason than just the shock value.
I could see him getting it okayed and then showing up, and then us not knowing about it. Just to fuck with people.
Pretty much.
Alright, we're going to go into the 15-minute time limit. Do we have the time for it, Jacob?
Yeah, we got plenty of time.
We're going to go into Extreme Rules predictions for our 4Downs, 4down.org. You can enter your predictions in there and win a potentially Amazon gift card. Get all of your answers right, and you could win. But or you can have the rankings on the on what the heck's the league? Whatever the league is, and you can see how you do. So. We're gonna talk about Extreme Rules here coming up on Sunday, the 4th. May the 4th be with you. Fun fact, they just announced the cast for 7. So we're gonna have my match of the year, El Torito versus Hornswoggle in a WeeLC match. I pronounced that correctly. A WeeLC match in the pre-show exclusive.
This has roll eyes written all over it. We don't even know what the hell a WeeLC match is. And Hornswoggle and El Torino make about as good as wrestling as Rush Limbaugh and Bill O'Reilly does.
Yeah, Jester. Spoiler, WeeLC match. It's a TLC match, but with midgets.
And we have
and the little ladders and the little chairs. And all of the good stuff that's involved with that. I expect to see a shooting star press from what you would call it from Hornswoggle. And I expect to watch it just as bad as Lesnar.
You're high, Gunner's high.
This is quite possibly the greatest pre-show match they've ever put on. This might actually might make me buy the network.
Oh my God! It's not high. It's a virus, and it's catching.
That should be entertaining.
I don't have a problem with minis, but Hornswoggle is terrible.
Well, the problem with minis is, you can't do it all the time because it's really, it's not against them as wrestlers and storytellers, but you've seen, that's why the juniors division didn't work, because you've seen one match, then it kind of, there's only so many spots they can do, and then, Thank you, dog.
Dog don't like spots.
That's Fiona, and she is not a fan of spot monkeys.
Apparently. Alright, so I've got, have El Torito going over, with interference.
Probably.
We're going to move on here to Xavier Woods and R-Truth versus Alexander Rusev in a handicap match. Who you got?
Obviously. I don't see Truth and Truth and Consequences. God, they're missing out.
Yes, they are, aren't they?
Like a badass tag team name, Truth and Consequences. Anyhow,
It was a tag team name.
Wait, was it?
Yes, in TNA.
No.
Yeah,
Holy crap.
Yeah, before he came back as R-Truth, back when he was still Ron Killings, and that whole when he teamed with what's his name, the Pac-Man Jones. But anyway, I'm really not a big fan of this whole European strongman thing because it's just so overdone, and they really need to get him in a real feud after this match.
Besides, Lana's gonna stick her big, you beautiful nose in there somewhere.
So how about?
How about Paige versus? I've got Rusev crushing both of them.
Yeah.
Paige versus Tamina
Obvious.
for the Divas Championship. I fear for Paige's jaw.
It'll probably be a lot more hard hitting, but I think Paige will retain. Yes.
Yeah, this one's not going to be your typical Divas match, unfortunately, for Paige. She's going to get pretty roughed up, but I think she might make it.
I'm hoping for a Paige retention. Yeah, I want Paige to keep the belt.
I'm counting on a Paige redemption at this point. So we have, I've got Paige going over, no interference. Rob Van Dam versus Cesaro versus Jack Swagger in a triple threat match. This should be fun. I want to see Cesaro swing Rob Van Dam.
That'd be cool.
Or swing Swagger, and then RVD comes off for a splash.
Right, that's what I want to see. I want to see Cesaro swinging Swagger, and RVD comes off for the splash at exactly the right moment to land on Swagger mid-swing.
So much subtext.
Spot of the night.
And then Cesaro goes for Cesaro hits the neutralizer on RVD and pins him for the 1-2-3.
Yes.
That's exactly my prediction.
No. I mean,
this match is calling for a big spot. Let's put it that way.
I think you would want to keep Cesaro's momentum going, so I would say he would be the winner.
I would agree.
Ditto.
Alright, so then we have Big E versus Bad News Barrett. For the Intercontinental Championship, who you got?
Big E. I don't see them killing his push right now.
It's kind of hard to say because with you say his push, but what has he really done except hold the title? You know what I mean? That's kind of the problem with the mid-card belts. They kind of give you the belt, and then they don't really do anything, and then they kind of build somebody else up to take it, and then that person doesn't really do anything.
I think this is just a feud designed to heat up Bad News Barrett for when we move towards the summer, and potentially lining him or Cesaro up for a Money in the Bank snagging, if you would. Right now, I mean, that mid-card to, top tier guy, realm is very, very thick with talent, and there's only going to be one Money in the Bank this year, or some would think. And that's coming up in June, guys, at the end of June. So we're not that far away from talking about that kind of thing. And I'm looking at this match right now and going, Bad News Barrett could take it and then run with it for a little while. And end Big E's run, and then Big E can do something, or it could go the other way. So I'm 50-50. I personally have Big E retaining to make him look strong. So.
It's a fair point about Money in the Bank, but yeah, I think I'm gonna go a little safer and say Big E.
We're gonna move on here to John Cena versus Bray Wyatt in a steel cage match. Not that Bray Wyatt has, had great success in steel cage matches this year. Look at you, Daniel Bryan.
Okay, rather than bust out in song and sing a verse of He's Got the Whole World in His Hands, I feel that we must, just for 2 seconds, talk about last night's opening of Raw and how freaking cool was this. All the naysayers, all the things that it was creepy and was awful and they didn't like it, it's because it was creepy, it was because it was awful, it was because it was amazing that they used Cena's... Yes, I agree. Because it was amazing that they used Cena's stock and trade against him. Children that made him semi-freak out in the middle of the ring. It was, yes, I agree. It was just that amazing.
it was a pretty powerful visual, and the whole, Cena kind of not having an answer, even when some of the best heels have bested him verbally, Cena can pretty much just say, and he did kind of do this later in the night too, with Renee. He can just kind of say, well, I'm going to put my foot up his ass and blah, 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 blah. But in that moment, yes, he didn't really have an answer. He was confronted with this, all of this adversity. And those are really the most powerful moments. And I really wish they were more courageous to do things like that more often. Because it reminded me of when he had to join the Nexus and, basically kneel at Barrett's feet and take the Nexus shirt. And all the kids and everybody in the crowd were chanting, "Don't give up." And, moments like that are really, really powerful. But as for the match, I really don't know, because cage match, that kind of implies inherently that you can win by escape. So I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't see Bray Wyatt climbing
or going through the door or whatever. I got Bray Wyatt to win, to be completely honest. He'll break Cena.
Shenanigans. Gotta be shenanigans.
Oh, tons of shenanigans, yeah. I mean, this is Bray Wyatt we're talking about here. Shenanigans at the wazoo. Cena will be trapped in the cage, and Bray will be helped out.
I'm really not sure, because, it's... Obviously something's going to happen, but... I'll say if cage escape is an option, then Wyatt has a better chance to win. But if it's not on the table, then I don't see how Cena can lose.
Bray needs a win. Let's put it that way.
Well, he does, but he's not gonna. I mean,
that's necessarily get it. Yeah. All right, so we have moving on here. We have the Shield versus Evolution in a 6-man tag match. I have the shenanigans, no interference, and what do you guys think? I don't know.
Well, I don't know exactly how much interference we're going to get, since all 6 men will be in this match. I don't think Nature Boy is going to be down there for anything.
Well, let's say Batista is taking a break after Extreme Rules. Might that suggest that the whole Evolution thing isn't necessarily going to... Not that it's not going to continue, but that they might not win, or... doesn't make sense for them to win so the Shield can get it back, or, well, the Shield, it doesn't make more sense for the Shield to win so they have one over on them, and then maybe you can splinter off into this kind of singles position. It is kind of hard to tell.
Alright, I have an interesting fantasy booking question for you guys. Since Batista is going to be taking some time off, do you guys think that they will recruit another member of quote Evolution?
It's always a possibility, but... And I know people have, since Evolution was first rumored to be coming back, people have been suggesting that could happen, but I don't know.
That's above my pay grade. No idea.
Who would you even pick for something?
Personally, I'm bringing this up because I already had the idea in my head. I would bring Sheamus into it. I would bring Sheamus into Evolution and turn him heel and give him a suit and let him talk, basically. Not do anything. And, feud with... tag with Orton to feud with the other two. That's besides the point. We only got a couple minutes here. We're going to talk about Daniel Bryan versus Kane in an Extreme Rules match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Holy crap, Daniel Bryan got the shit beat out of him last week, and still came back, and I cannot imagine being Daniel Bryan in this past month.
Oh, Lord, this guy has had so much good and so much bad at the same time happen to him. And then this match, holy cow, it's going to be one of either the best matches of his career or one of the matches of his career where he's going to get hurt the most.
It's going to be a rough one. I don't see Kane winning the title, obviously. Extreme Rules environment, you're probably going to have some kind of big, nasty tease with Kane. I don't know what it would be. I don't know if they can't do like jumper cables or anything like that anymore. I don't think, but there's going to be something. It's gonna. I wouldn't be surprised if they took this one to the stage and it spilled out from the ring area.
I think Daniel's going to win. I think that Kane's going to try to take him out and do the stage thing.
and there's like in the back of my mind, I'm like, they're gonna hug it out. You know that, right?
Oh, good lord! I don't see Dr. Shelby making a return appearance.
I would be okay with that, though.
Alright, that's it for 15-minute time limit. There are your results, and those are our predictions for the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. If you would like to, enter those in somewhere, go to 4down.org and join the Woo League. Alright, so, Yankum, do we have some music lined up, or are we going to break immediately?
I think we're going to go to break immediately. 1 second here. Talk amongst yourselves.
Well, I got the soundboard for X-Men the arcade game all queued up.
I will kill you. Literally.
So if I did something like this...
No.
Welcome to die.
Breaking news. It was announced on WWE Main Event that the match for the U.S. title, which was set for SmackDown, is now a fatal four-way, with Dean Ambrose defending against Alberto Del Rio, Ryback, and Curtis Axel.
And this is for SmackDown?
All right. Good point, dog.
All right.
Alright, we're going to go to break, and we will be right back.